welcome to episode 8 of BBall Pro Insider. You're watching the Candice YouTube channel, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder of this program, we do daily commentary on the playoff race for both the Eastern and Western Conference bubble teams. Bubble teams are the 5th through 8th seed and the 9th through 12th seed. We are a predictions program, meaning that we are foreshadowing, foretelling, trying to see what's happening in the future. And the way we make our predictions is we use the past, in this case yesterday, along with the present today, in order to get a clear scope for the future. But in order to understand that, you need to understand what happened last night. Last night there were 3 big winners, and we're going to go over those big winners. Those winners are the first set of the bubble teams to beat. So we have to start with the Trailblazers. Wow, the Trailblazers. So the question yesterday was, will the top seeds be challenged? And the Portland Trailblazers answered that question last night with an emphatic yes. They beat Philadelphia 76ers away on the road. Such an incredible game, and of course, no team was at full strength, so of course that's going to be a huge factor, but it doesn't matter. The Portland Trailblazers look amazing. They look like the bubble team to beat. The Trailblazers beat the 76ers 121 to 105 on the road. The Trailblazers really have a good thing going on right now, and they are the bubble team to beat. But most of all, the thing about the Trailblazers is that on this road trip, they didn't pack any excuses. They packed no excuses in their luggage all the way from Portland. They just, with their veteran leadership, took a challenge on the road and really solidified themselves in the West. They have moved up to number 5. So Portland has put themselves in a really good position, moving up to 5th place now in the West, and they can just keep on climbing with wins. Trailblazers definitely the team to beat. Number 2 team had a huge win last night were the Warriors, and the Warriors have advanced up now to 7th place with a win over the Mavericks, and they beat the Mavericks on the road again. The score was 147 to 116. So this Warriors team is not going anywhere. They are fearless, they're confident, and most of all, they're winners. They find a way to win. The Warriors are the team to beat because they continuously take care of business, whether at home or on the road. They understand the ins and outs of the whole playoff race, and they take advantage of it. So Warriors, definitely another team to beat on the rise, number 7 in the West. And then finally, we have the Houston Rockets. Huge win last night as well against the Memphis Grizzlies, again on the road. Road Warriors ruled yesterday. The Houston Rockets, although they had a huge win, they won the game 115 to 103, although they were up by pretty big for majority of the game, but they did lose Christian Wood, and that Christian Wood ankle injury really hurts. However, they still persevered, and they lost him in the 3rd quarter, but were still able to finish the game strong and solid. And when it comes to the Houston Rockets, as long as John Wall is healthy, the Rockets are okay. They're good to go. So the Rockets stayed the same at number 10, but again, this win that they had against the Grizzlies really can help them build some momentum, and they're just going to keep having to find their way either with or without Christian Wood, but the Rockets looked astounding as well. I think basically at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway from the question of who are the bubble teams to beat, I think the answer is the teams with identity. So all these teams that won last night, they are teams that have an identity. It's not necessarily about how much talent you have, but just about having a solid identity as a team. So now we're going to move on to today's games because there are 7 games that are relevant to tonight's program. So we're going to try to quickly get through tonight's lineup, starting with the Pistons versus the Suns. Should be a really good matchup. Phoenix is still in 6th place, and Detroit is in 15th place, but any given day, a team can win in this league, and I think that this is a really important game for positioning for Phoenix. Next, we have the Pelicans versus the Pacers. New Orleans is in 13th place, but they just had a huge win against Phoenix, and Indiana's in 5th place. I think that Indiana is really looking to seal their identity as a top team in the East, so this game is going to be very important for them. It's definitely an identity check game for the Pacers. Next, we have the Bulls versus the Magic. Chicago's in 11th place, and Orlando is in 12th place. So this is what I would call a piggyback game, meaning they're stacked on top of each other, so they're trying to just one-up one another. And these are both Eastern teams, so this is a really important game. And honestly, in this game, this is pretty high stakes because the loser in this game loses a lot in terms of positioning and in terms of momentum. Next is the Raptors versus the Nets. And Toronto's in 10th place and Brooklyn is in 3rd place. So this game is a truth test game for the Raptors. You know, they had a really big breakthrough game the other night. They were able to have a great win and build a lot of momentum, but now they get a test on the road against a really, really, really talented Brooklyn team. And I think the question tonight in this game is how good are the Raptors really? So we'll answer that question. Next is the Bucks versus the Cavs, and Cleveland is in 7th place, and Milwaukee's in 2nd place. They just came off a huge win at home, but they're playing on the road against Cleveland. So the Cavs, if they take care of their homework tonight, they can really make some waves and keep on climbing. They've been doing really well this season, but again, they have to be challenged in order to really see the growth and the development that they have as a team. And with this win tonight, the Cavs can really make a case for being a top bubble team on the East. Okay, next we have the Jazz versus the Hornets, and Jazz is number 1, of course, and Charlotte is number 6. So they moved up all the way to number 6 with their latest success, and I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. They played Philadelphia the other day. Now they get the test of the best team in the West. And so we're going to have to see what these Hornets are really about. If nothing else, in this game, we will see an exciting game because this Hornets team, they're very exciting to watch. They play really well, but again, you're only as good as the opponent you're playing against, and you're only going to be able to measure yourself that way. So we'll be able to see, how much these Hornets have grown and what they've learned since their last loss to Philadelphia, which they really fought really well against Philadelphia considering the circumstances. And then finally, we have the Timberwolves versus the Thunder. Minnesota's in 15th place in the West, but the Thunder are in 12th place. So this actually, I would call this a do or die directional game, much like the Kings had the other night. I think this is that for OKC in terms of if they lose this, they're really going to be, behind a lot and have to do a lot of catching up. This is a really important game. It's at home, so they really need to take care of their homework. But again, Wild West game, so anything can happen, and we will be checking in to see what happens tonight. That wraps up our program for today, and make sure that you catch me tomorrow.